6th graders and anybody who wasn't here last year as a 7th or 8th grader. This is how we do this. We spend a couple of days debating the pros and cons of our particular topic. What we want you to do is to listen to their arguments. We want you to be convinced one way or the other only by their arguments, not what you thought before you came into the room. Okay, so the basis of the debate is how well they debate, not what you thought about it before you actually walked in. Sometimes it's real hard to do that. You take something that you have a feeling about and listen to both sides. But we're trying to ask you to do that. Okay? At the end of the debate, the teams that are not in the debate, the class that's in the seats that are not in the debate, are the only people that can vote, since there are two classes that are involved in the debate. The other two classes are the people that will vote for either pro, con, or tie. Okay? If you think both groups have done an adequate job of convincing you to their side, then you would vote tie, and then we'll find out who won the debate. In terms of keeping track of the debates, we have the 4 classes listed here. If you win a debate, you get 2 points towards the standings. If you tie a debate, you get 1 point. And if you lose the debate, you don't get any points. And at the end of the year, we decide by that who has won for the year. This is the results of last year's. This is Muhammad's team won last year with a total of 4 points. And then there was Mr. Trusello in my class at 2. Mrs. Reddy's class had none. Okay, so that was the results of last year's debates, and we're looking forward to this year's debates. Okay, so with that in mind, we have Mr. Trusello's class over here. No, over here. And we have Mrs. Reddy's class over here. And the debate today is about beepers, about whether or not you should be allowed to have beepers in school. You people are in favor of that, is that correct? You're the pro team. You people are against it. You're the con team. And we're going to flip right now to find out who goes first. So if you would call it in the air.
Ed.
And it is?
Ed.
Ed. So you have your choice of whether or not you want to open or you want them to open. They will open. Could you identify yourself so we know who you are? Your name is? Philip. Jared. Jared? 2 Jareds. Jeffrey. Jared and Jeffrey. It's a very important law firm coming up one day in the future. And your name is? Arnold. Tanika. Danielle. And Joe. Okay, so if you need to refer to them, to speak to them, do your thing. Okay, so you're opening up. Opening statement. And speak up so the camera picks you up.
Use beepers, so they should not be beepers in school.
You really don't need them.
Okay. Speak to them, okay? Speak to them. Tell them exactly what you said and speak very loud.
I think you don't need beepers because if somebody beeps you in school or in class, you can't really return the beep unless you're still in class.
Beepers interrupt class. I don't think beepers should be allowed in school because they can get stolen and cause fights.
Okay, and that is our opening statements on the con team. Opening statements on the pro team. Speak to the group.
Well, you have to think about rights. Even though we're younger, doesn't mean that we don't have the same rights as adults. So it doesn't really matter if we're younger. We have a lot of problems, like language problems. Like, say, your mother speaks Spanish, and you can speak Spanish. And you have, say, nobody else in school knows how to speak Spanish, like in the office. They can call or beep you or have you come down, go to the office, like, and while you're in the hall, call them and find out whatever the message is.
You can send signs instead of having to call them, have them talk to them. And you can send messages by using numbers right here. All the numbers can equal a letter. As I have here, one number, when you turn it upside down, it equals shell. So you can send words and numbers instead of having to talk to them.
If you have to find a student out of in band or in the lunchroom, you can use a beeper. And teachers and parents have beepers.
Okay.
In case of emergencies.
Oh, and there's
school and your mom or dad doesn't know the beeper number, and you get the school number to the school, and then you could just raise your hand, and it's an emergency, and tell the teacher it's an emergency.
There's our opening statements to you. Since you people open first, you can question them first. So if there's something that they said that you disagree with, you can direct your questions at them.
I feel like they said that don't use them like for emergencies. If it was an emergency, you might have to call the school and they can let you know.
School's number.
Some parents don't know the school's number and they don't call it.
Okay, one at a time, one at a time. People in the audience must remain quiet.
You can't call them back because you're not allowed to leave class for something like that because of
You can tell, all you have to do is tell a teacher and you can show that it's an emergency by either showing on speaker or saying that it's a real emergency. Say what it is.
Okay, did you have other questions for the group?
What does speaking Spanish have to do with the
No,
beeper?
I mean like just about any other language.
What does that have to do with it though?
Well, how's anybody in school gonna know what they're saying? If somebody calls up and they're speaking in some other language, how's the person at the office gonna know who to get or what have you?
Still, that doesn't have anything to do with you and your beeper. It doesn't. Besides the point of the language.
Okay, did you have any other questions for this group over there?
You can't have beepers in school.
Did you have a question for the group?
Oh, you said that you can show the teacher your beeper. If you show the teacher your beeper, you probably get taken away because you can't have beepers in school.
You're allowed to.
This is what we're trying to prove, that you should be allowed to have beavers.
Are there other questions that you would like to ask for Tim? Okay. Are there questions that you would like to ask this team?
Not all the people who have beavers are drug dealers. Some kids' parents have beavers and they're not drug dealers.
Do you want to respond to that?
What do parents have to do with having beavers? What do drug dealers have to do with having beavers?
Because they're beeping you. Not just because your parents have a beeper doesn't mean you have to have one, and it's not right that even if you don't, it doesn't mean it's not right that you don't have one. If you have one, that's your problem. It doesn't have anything to do with your parents having one. And some people don't have the responsibility to leave it on vibrate instead of page. And some people are going to be stupid and they're going to put it on and get it taken away. So it still interrupts class, no matter what. Some people don't even have vibrate. I know. We'll get one today.
Did you have another question you would like to ask? Okay. Well, we've had opening statements and we've had opening questions and we're just about out of time. Tomorrow when we come in, the audience will have a chance to question the different teams. And then after that, they'll sum up and we'll vote on it. So we might be able to finish this one. Settle down, settle down. Yesterday, we began our first debate of the year. The topic is whether or not students should be allowed to have beepers in school. This team is against that, is that correct?
No, wrong.
Wrong. Wrong again. This team is in favor of that, and this team is against that. And yesterday, we had the opening statements from both teams. We had them question each other. And today, you, yes, you, the audience, will have a chance to question the two teams and make your opinions known on it. Okay? So if you would like to direct a question to any particular person or any particular team, just simply raise your hands and they will field the questions that you have. Yes, miss?
How long has this, you know how to say you learn, well, how it's a foreign person who speaks Spanish or whatever language you said, how long has this person been in the U.S.?
Doesn't really matter.
Because if they've been in the U.S. a long time, they should at least have picked up a lot of English to know what to say and if somebody comes by the house or something.
Okay, did you want to respond to any more to that? Nothing. Okay. Yes.
If someone calls the kids
And they call it Spanish teacher. What if it's in the middle of like a test or something? Or
Well,
if
what about
it's
the
class?
language? How soon after our class had spelling and before you supposed to
Yes.
Okay, you said if the Spanish teacher comes down, they can always get a substitute. And anyway, if you have a beeper in school, you don't really need it because obviously if your mother needed it that bad, she would have came to school. Second of all, you said that you're just as equal as any adult. Adult might have a beeper because of business. You don't. You're not working, so you don't need one.
What if you use it?
They're their own person. They pay for it. I'm more than sure you can't pay for it.
Good.
Then I don't know what you be doing at home.
Okay, other questions from the audience? Aye. Anybody else from the audience who has a question for either of the two teams? These are the people in favor of the beepers. They are the BBs and these are the beepers.
If they're not gonna use the beeper for business, what are they gonna use it for?
They can use it.
They can use
just
it for friends.
But
Just
first
like
they're
they
gonna
have
get
friends.
school.
Yeah,
If you're at
most
school,
people that want the beeper just know they have the beeper. Most people look up how the beeper is supposed to go.
Yes.
You don't need a beeper first of all, and if your friends want to call you or talk to you, they can call you on the phone. And obviously you don't have nothing that important to talk about. If it's a matter of life and death, it doesn't have to do with everybody else, but your family. Obviously they
Somebody
can.
died.
That has nothing to do with you. If it's someone else's family,
It's your family.
if someone died, they obviously could get someone else to call if they don't speak English or whatever. Or they'll come to school.
What if they don't know what the school is? What the school's number?
There is a number called information. They could dial that. There's a phone book.
Please, one person at a time. Yes, sir.
Well, you know, I was saying if you didn't know what school it is, and they could just reach you once you get home, right? See, because you don't really need the paper.
Yes, ma'am. Speak up, speak
I
up.
have another thing about how he's saying the parent doesn't know where the school. How are you gonna send a kid to school and you don't know where the school is exactly?
Welcome to the Ricky Lake Show. Do we have any other questions for either of the teams? Yes, miss.
People use beepers as a fashion statement, not necessarily when they turn on. Wait, no, I'll put that key. Not necessarily if they're turned on or off. So if I'm wearing a beeper and it's turned off and I'm using it as a fashion statement, I get it taken away because I have a beeper. It's not turned on. No one can beep you if
Your
a
beeper's
beeper's turned off. If it's not online.
Sort of like clues.
So it's people wear beepers as a fashion statement, not just as for someone to beep them.
Yes.
If you use it for a fashion statement to be like everybody else, why don't you be an individual?
Because I don't want to be an individual.
Would you guys use any of these beepers as a fashion statement? I would. Would you ever carry a beeper to school? Well, let's see. What is this?
That's not a beeper, that's...
No, don't!
Oh my God! Do we have any other questions from the audience? Okay, we have time for our final summarization of what you've been saying, and then we'll be doing the voting. You guys you made your statements first, or they made their statements?
We made our
You made your statements first, so then therefore you summarize first, okay? Summary.
Last statement.
Make your
Final statement.
which is basically your first statement.
I said that you have to give up the rights of other people just because you're young, you have the same rights, and if somebody in your family is the next people.